Welcome back. Mr. Ikram Sehgal, you strongly feel that we cannot rule out future military takeovers. But how can we stop such a practice? Because you believe that this is not legal or constitutional.
Yes, I do believe that. And I'd like to clarify something because Nafisa Shah has been very vocal about it. I'm one of those people who wrote about how proud I was about the fact that Asif Ali Zardari and Benazir Bhutto defended themselves during the long years of incarceration. I wrote about it during the years of Musharraf's testing. It's on record, right? And I was very happy when they fought case after case and actually, took some cases out. But the NRO was absolute shock to me. Never in the history of absolute history has amnesty been given on corruption grounds, general amnesty. Now, on political grounds, yes. On political grounds, amnesty is given, and it is accepted that in order to have reconciliation, you have this thing, but not on grounds of corruption. Once they accepted under the NRO, they accepted that amnesty, that actually accepts that they take the guilt. They should have fought it out in courts. I agree with Nafisa Shah. The number of the cases all across the board are concocted. There is no doubt about it. I'm fully with it. Let us take the case of the so-called hijacking. This hijacking took place when the supposed hijacker was not even in the aircraft.
Yes,
all right. So let us put it very bluntly. But I am just saying I do not advocate a military takeover. I do not welcome a military takeover.
But how can we stop it?
But the only way to stop it is not to keep casus belli in the form of the NRO in front of the military. You see, if you put a casus belli and they say, okay, fine, there is corruption and there's nothing being done about this corruption, and the parliament is doing nothing about this corruption and is not going to do anything about this corruption, then somebody down there in the ranks is going to say something.
So,
and that will travel
our
up the ranks.
Our politicians should share the blame. Do you think this is fair enough point? Because right now, if you say that...
No, I tell you one thing. How you can give a justification that corruption since is rampant, therefore takeover is justified. By corruption,
look, the current
if you
state
talk
of
about
affairs.
corruption,
Look,
what
the current
happened
state
in
of
martial
affairs.
dictatorial?
What
happened in dictatorial rule for 8 years?
But let me
I need to ask this question.
Pakistan
because you have to speak one by one.
Why is
Nafisa,
only elected
Pakistan,
leadership suffers from corruption?
Pakistan
your government
stood 8th in
let
number
me
in
ask
the
a
whole
question.
of
We
the
have
world,
to speak
one
one by
of the
one.
most corrupt country that was in the period of the martial law and the dictatorial rule. And Pakistan was never anywhere, significant for the purposes of corruption.
Let me ask a straight...
Whether the corruption is evaded?
Okay, let me ask a straight question. Let me ask a question.
Vindicated at the time when martial law...
Mr. Nasir Bhutta, let me ask a straight question to Kashmala Tariq. Of course, that this government is more than 15 months old. Do you think that they are really delivering? Because the kind of problem that we are facing, of course, that people are really disturbed.
Kamran Sahab, I've just mentioned previously in the beginning that there is no opposition in the parliament which I see there. May it be my party, may it be their party, may it be any other party. It is all, you can call it a national government rather than saying that there is any sort of opposition. In these 18 months, I haven't seen any serious legislative work coming up. I haven't seen people rising and saying that, look, here you are wrong. How many times would they get up and say, oh, the blame goes to the previous government? Yes, the blame goes to the previous government, but what are you coming up with? What are the new policies you are bringing? What have you done so far? So the point is that, yes, if we have to shake hands and if we have to sit together, maybe PMLN or MQM or ANP or even PMLQ for that matter.
So you are saying that until and unless we resolve the basic issues, the chances of military takeovers will remain. I mean, the civilian governments will have to deliver.
I'm just giving you the synopsis of what's happening within the parliament. There is no opposition.
But people are also talking about...
People are about the opposition. I'll help my colleague. Let me speak for you. You are a journalist and Mr. Ikram Sehgal is a very senior analyst and journalist. And I would ask you, have you seen any substantial opposition in the past 18 months?
Okay,
Historically,
let me talk, because we are talking about the future military takeovers. Many people believe that now the Supreme Court has played its role. Now it's up to the Parliament to give punishment to all those who abrogated the Constitution. And on that issue, People's Party somehow is a very vague position. Why?
I think let the matters come to the Parliament. It's up to us, and I'm sure the Parliament is going to take the best course looking at the context. We also have to look at the
context. And do you think that
in
General
which we
Musharraf
have-
should be held responsible?
Yes,
because this is
he
the best
He
what
has
people
been
are
made
talking about. That
responsible, and he
you
has
have to
been
set certain examples.
He has been eliminated. He has been eliminated. He has been politically eliminated.
But he's living
now, if you want to
comfortably in
gun for
London.
him, if you want to gun for him, I mean, yes, the Parliament is there. We'll take it up. I mean, whatever our party position is. But I want to talk about this issue of opposition.
I think
let me just talk about this issue of opposition. I think it's very important to have that. I think it's important to have constructive opposition, and throughout we've learned, and that is why the Charter of Democracy, the Charter of Democracy was a recognition that opposition has to be constructive, that we are not going to pull each other down. That and I think that is in the honor and Charter of Democracy. Part of it has
is a very comprehensive
But it's
document.
not implemented
Part
yet.
of it also talks of Truth
independent
and Reconciliation
judiciary.
Commission.
Yes.
It also talks of give certain mechanism regarding
Eliminating
the
all
appointment
the
of judges.
generals from the sitting positions, and generals
It
are
talks-
still sitting in the service.
It talks of
the
independence of
civilians.
judiciary, and we are moving towards that. It talks of giving space to the opposition and
But
allowing
coming back
them
to the
play
question,
their role,
coming back to the
and
question
we
of
are
future military
going
takeovers,
towards
let me
that.
ask Mr. Ikram Sehgal. Do you think that some people believe that if we really held General Musharraf accountable, this would set a precedent, and then whenever a military dictator thinks taking over the civilian government, he will think twice before going for that?
I want to answer this question in a different way. When a soldier takes an oath, he says he will defend the Constitution even to the peril of his life. You know, when we stood in the military academy and we took an oath, you know, General Musharraf was only a few terms senior to me. We said,
Yet Nawaz Sharif the other day said that the military should give a pledge that they will not interfere.
Let me put it to you this way, and I will answer this question. The thing is, he takes an oath and he violates that oath, right? He's a soldier, right? He says, I violate the oath. He can, let me put it to you, he can take over. He can correct whatever the wrong is. He can go straight before the Supreme Court and say, I have violated the oath. I'm a soldier. You hang me. I will see if he has done no wrong during the time that he and his associates have taken over, which court will touch him, right? The point is, the military person who takes over has to be very clear this thing. I wrote an article back in 1995, why do martial laws fail? Why do martial laws fail? Martial laws fail because the people ride into tanks with lofty aims and ambitions of how to correct things. And then what happens is that they've got these leeches and adventurers who join them up, then tell them what the good life they're all about, and they become part of the system. What they do is they become part of what they've come out to correct this thing. First of all, they're not supposed to run the government. No military officer can run any government. That's not his business. He's not equipped to do it. What he has to do is to support whatever government is there. There are many ways of doing that. But I tell you one thing. If a soldier, for example, I think I'm a friend of General Musharraf. I like him very much. But I disagree with him on many points, and I've disagreed with him over the last 10 years.
But do you think he should be held responsible?
Yes, he should be. He has missed a historic chance to come and say, this was the reason why I took over.
And now you also believe that he should be held responsible?
He should be held. My point is only that I believe that while, you know, on one side which says his trial, I feel the trial would be used to launch a victimhood campaign against the army. And that I do not want.
Okay,
I do not want the army to.
Okay, but after the break, because we have to go for another break here, so stay with us.